So friends, we're about to see if our nation's criminal justice system is up to the task of prosecuting a criminal former president of the United States. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So yes, I'm dressed a little bit better than I ordinarily am in my daily Justice Matters videos. I just finished an 11 p.m. appearance with Stephanie Ruhle talking about the upcoming arraignment. That is the first court appearance in the case of United States versus Donald J. Trump. And I just flew in from Boston this evening, rushed over to my office to jump on air with Stephanie. And it's pushing midnight now, but there's something that I feel strongly about, and I just want to spend a few minutes talking about. Because we are about to see if our criminal justice system is up to the task of prosecuting a criminal former president of the United States. Because the arraignment hearing will be the first test of whether our system is equipped to do what should be done, what must be done with an abject criminal like Donald Trump. So let me talk about, I think, the first test that will give us some sense of whether we really believe that the system is equipped to treat everybody equally. To use that trite saying that no man is above the law. So at the arraignment hearing, a few things will happen. One, Donald Trump will have the indictment read to him unless he waives formal reading of the charges, which most defendants do. Donald Trump will enter a plea of not guilty, and then the topic will turn to probably the most consequential question. What does the judge do with Donald Trump pending trial? And there are going to be a few issues in play. One, should the judge place any travel restrictions on Donald Trump? Cause him to surrender his passport? Prohibit him from leaving the United States, for example? Will the court place any restrictions on Donald Trump's speech or his posts? Yes, he retains his First Amendment rights. Yes, he retains his ability to defend himself in the court of public opinion by saying, I've done nothing wrong and I will be exonerated at trial. But he doesn't have a right to gin up in imminent violence, and he doesn't have a right to put prosecutors or their families in harm's way, judges or their families in harm's way, witnesses in harm's way, grand jurors in harm's way, trial jurors in harm's way, all of which he has done. He doesn't have a right, not under the First Amendment or anywhere else, to do any of that. What will the judge do about it? And here is the most fundamental question that will frankly moot out those other two issues, whether he should have any travel restrictions placed on him and whether he should have any restrictions placed on his speech and his posts. Every time a defendant is arraigned in court, and I did hundreds of arraignments, more than I can ever recall, probably the most consequential issue, certainly for the defendant, for the victim or victims, for the community, is, should the defendant be released back into the community pending trial, or should the defendant be detained pending trial? And the standard by which a judge can order a defendant detained, jailed, pending trial is if the judge concludes by clear and convincing evidence that the defendant is either a flight risk or a danger to the community. If so, the judge can order a defendant jailed or detained pending trial. Here's the thing, friends. This is why I wanted to talk with you all right now, in the dark of night, at midnight, on the eve of Donald Trump's arraignment. There are thousands and thousands of people sitting in pretrial detention right now in jurisdictions all across the nation because a judge concluded that they were a flight risk and or a danger to the community, and the judge was persuaded that there was clear and convincing evidence proving they were a flight risk or a danger, and they were ordered jailed pending trial. And I would venture to guess that of the thousands and thousands of people who are sitting in pretrial detention right now, very few of them, if any of them, pose 1/100th the danger to the community that Donald Trump poses, the danger to our democracy that Donald Trump poses. So, if the system acts in a fair and even-handed way, treating everyone the same in the eyes of the law, if no one is above the law or entitled to preferential treatment, well then, we should see Donald Trump ordered, detained, pending trial. Do I expect that to happen? I don't. Because I don't have complete confidence in the criminal justice system to do what needs to be done in the prosecution of a criminal former president of the United States. I'm not suggesting all hope is lost. You have probably heard me say I'm not a betting man, I'm not a high roller, I have a $1 betting limit. Well, I will bet $1. I may up it to $1.25, that Donald Trump will be convicted at trial, and I also happen to believe he will be sentenced to prison. We'll be talking more about that in the future. But I am not optimistic that the law will be applied fairly to him at his arraignment, and the judge will conclude that he's a danger to the community. He's a danger writ large. Remember January 6th? Remember all his posts putting witnesses, prosecutors, judges, and their family members, grand jurors, trial jurors, and others in harm's way? He's a danger to the community. He's a danger to our democracy. But I don't think the criminal justice system is up to the task of treating him the way they've treated all those thousands of other pretrial detainees. And that's unfortunate. It's worse than unfortunate. It's unfair. It's unjust. And justice matters. Friends, as always, please stay safe, please stay tuned, and I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.